welcome back to the second episode of Saurabh and Saurabh Talk Shit podcast. I'm your co-host Saurabh.
And your second co-host Saurav.
Today I'm with an old friend of mine, uh, Praptej here, who's also an avid MCU and DC, a superhero genre fan like me and Saurabh and I are basically. And in this podcast, we're basically going to be discussing, how like this entire aspect of superhero films have like basically changed the way we look at things and its impact, our opinions on it, and basically along the same lines. So, Praptej, hi.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
Hello.
So, yeah. So, like, basically, I wanted to ask you, like, how did you, like, develop this interest in the genre? Like, don't take me wrong. Like, it's maybe like this particular generation. Like, but back when I remember when I was pretty young, there used to be like this stereotype, or you could say like a stigma that girls are not into superhero kind of things. And I think like all of us at some age have like faced that whole social phenomena, as I'd like to put it. And honestly, like it's pretty great considering the fact that in today's generation, like growing up now, there's no longer like this division of like the gender bias when it comes to like the whole genre of superheroes. So like yeah, so like how did you start your like where was your, as I'd like to put it, calling for this whole genre itself?
Yeah, the thing you said about if this is a boys thing and that used to be there earlier, but now everybody enjoys superhero films and they're becoming more inclusive as well.
Yeah.
So it's getting really great. And when I'm talking about how I got into superhero films, I was not a big comic reader as a kid, so I my introduction to the films was the films. I watched Iron Man in 2008, and it was just like you haven't seen something like this on the screen ever before.
Right.
And then it continued to grow into this sort of universe, and the way that the films are all connected somehow, I thought that was really fascinating. And then it opened the doors to this entire world of superheroes beyond Marvel as well, like not just the MCU, but there's also other superhero films that that are also as great. So yeah, that's how I started it.
So, like, yeah, like, basically, like, you're saying, like, you got introduced to the genre of superheroes primarily through MCU. As you said, like, the Avengers movie in 2012, if I'm not wrong.
The Avengers movie, yeah.
So,
That
like,
was like the point where I really, really got into it. Before that, I was watching the movies in passing. I was just like, yeah, Iron Man की new movie आ रही है, okay, let's watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
We all were like, yeah, movies चल रहा है चलने दो.
yeah, but then when Avengers happened, you saw all of these like
yeah,
different heroes come together, and it was like, wow, it was like,
that's pretty
you know,
fascinating.
yeah, because you're like, I saw this character in another film as well, but to see their forces combined,
Exactly. And that's something like, as far as I remember, I had only ever seen like crossover like this in Power Rangers, if I'm not wrong. Like I
yeah,
remember
oh, yeah,
like when SPD crossovered with Dino Thunder, and I was I think around like 5 years old, and I freaked out because I was like, wait, how do they know each other? This is supposed to
exactly,
take place
yeah,
in the future, and that's the past and everything. Time travel, that's everything. It's like it's just so fascinating that you're like producing all these different content across these various scales, and then like you like bring them all together into one picture and you make it work. That's the biggest thing. Like Avengers made
yeah,
it work. We can't say that for every every other film.
And guys, one fun fact: Avengers, the film that came in 2012, was the first billion-dollar franchisee that it started of phase one of the film, and
yeah,
it was the first billion-dollar MCU film, man. Like that's one of the best
yeah,
things about, like, it jump started MCU's career.
I
I mean,
don't
yeah, it is
think.
Iron
I mean,
Man.
Avengers didn't necessarily jumpstart MCU's career. Avengers basically raised MCU standards altogether. I feel like like Robert Downey Jr. when he picked the mantle of Iron Man,
Yeah.
I'm sure we're all familiar with the whole fact that Kevin Feige was completely against the fact that Robert Downey Jr. be cast for a role
Yeah.
like Iron Man,
Yeah.
considering that fact that he had this whole history with drugs and everything, and you know, you branded the superhero films as like kids movie, as I like to quote it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, I mean, yeah, Disney is catering to the kids, but like these movies have so many layers, you know. It's like the more you grow up, you understand them better is also there an aspect, which is pretty beautiful if you ask me. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, who would have actually thought that, you know, like these days, 6 years old kids, 7 year old kids, and all are basically looking up to a guy who doesn't really have a very promising history, but like he has turned his life around. And
He did, yeah.
he's like, we all like, you know, everyone in the community, regardless of the fact that if you're a Marvel fan or DC fan or whatever, agree for the fact that Robert Downey Jr. was like, is irreplaceable for Iron Man, the same way Hugh Jackman is for Wolverine, and like so on and on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I remember very well. So I think I was like around 5 or 6 years old, and I had just moved to a different city. And the thing was like back then you would easily get Marvel and DC comics at like what do you say, around $50 in Crossword or Big Bazaar with those
Hmm.
Indian ads in them and everything, you know.
Oh, you mean the Gotham comics, right? Like I
In
had
general, like the original comics too, you used to
yeah.
get them easily in the stores. You don't see that
Yeah.
around anymore. And I remember I was 5 years old, and it's actually pretty like dark, kind of a dark story for me. It's not something that like really shared with a lot of people. But yeah, I at that age when I had gone to this new school, new place, and everything, I really wasn't fitting in well with this place, and I used to get extensively bullied during my to and fro travel to the school because my school was like pretty far from my house, so I had to take the bus, you know, the school bus. And those are one of the memories that I really don't like prefer remembering, kind of thing, like something I avoid. And it's like at that time, you know, it's like you're a 5 year old kid and you're like physically and emotionally pretty helpless and weak because like you don't really know how to deal with things like this. And was I had seen Spider-Man movie, you know, the Tobey Maguire one, Sam Raimi, and
Yeah.
I was introduced to Spider-Man and all from like cartoons and stuff, like at the age of 2 and 3, I guess. And I was to be like, okay, हाँ मुझे पता है Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, and all exist and shit, and like they're pretty cool, they're pretty fun, they're so cool, you know. It's like every other boy basically, you know, superheroes are damn awesome, you know. I hate Barbies, kind of a thing. And then like I found out like that wait, they make books about these people, and the thing was like I was not even much of a reader back then, and I remember picking up my first ever comic. It was Spider-Man, and it had Carnage in it. I think it was Maximum Carnage. I'm not sure, but I was just like, wait, what? Who is this guy? Why is he here and everything? It's just like I was just like mind fucked, and it's like I got into this thing, and I remember my mom was like, "तू ये खरीद के पढ़ेगा नहीं, तो मैं तेरे को लेके क्यों दूँ?" Because like I wasn't really into reading, like I said. But then I got into reading graphic novels, and I really, really enjoyed these comics, you know, about Spider-Man and everything. And what happened was like, as a kid, I started looking up to these characters, even though they weren't real, like at all. They weren't real at all. I started looking up to these characters, and yeah, like it sort of helped me through the whole process of like realizing, like, you know, going through the whole bullying phase. And you know, here's the thing. So you guys remember when the first Iron Man trailer came out in
Yeah.
2007?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like I remember I was in theater. I think I was watching. I don't even remember which movie I had gone to see. I was with my parents, and I shit you not. Okay, like this is exactly what happened. I was sitting in the theater. I'm like a 7 year old kid. Okay, I'm against the screen, and I see, like, you know, like all this the trailer of Iron Man 1 take place, and I'm like, that face looks very familiar. Arc reactor and everything. I see the Marvel logo and everything. Okay, and I'm just like, I'm just trying to piece together that I've seen this character before, and then the name Iron Man comes. And I shit you not, I was like just literally at one point I was just screaming to my parents like, I know who that guy is, I know who that guy is. Like I didn't stop saying that. मुझे पता है वो कौन है माँ, मैंने उसको एक comic में पढ़ा था and all and all and all. And Iron Man was a character that honestly not a lot of people were aware of. Like our generation kids. If you weren't like a
Yeah.
90s
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
80s kids.
Yeah.
No,
He got introduced like in the MCU. He was
yeah, he
not a
got
very popular
glorified by
character.
the MCU towards our
Yeah.
generation. So like my
Yeah,
parents were like, "Acha, sahi hai," and my parents were also fascinated by the trailer because like I mean, come on, Iron Man for the time it came out, that thing was like way ahead of its time. That movie,
yeah,
and
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
I
obviously.
and it's not even like I was a very small kid, so I wasn't really aware about this. So it's not even like I was waiting for this film or anything. This film came out, I got aware about the fact that Iron Man is in the theaters. My dad and my mom took me to it, and I remember I walked out of that theater. I wasn't even crying. I was just like shocked. I was petrified. Okay, back then I didn't even know that there was a mid-credit scene and everything. Like I never saw the post-credit scene or the mid-credit scene with the with Nick Fury and all. And dude, it was like so awesome. It's like it's like I just see turned my pages and seen a cartoon or two about this guy, and now like he was out there. It's like a live action film, and I think all of us can collectively agree to the fact that watching a live action movie is like a spectacle, regardless of what it is. It's just like it feels so good when you see something as cool as like robots and shit and suits and fighting and all.
Definitely.
It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
You've seen shit like that in the old Batman movies, back when we weren't even born. And it's like even years after they've come out, we still enjoy them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's been a part of, I mean, the generations coming forward. I think superhero movies have made a lot of impact. It has gotten people into reading comics. I feel
Yeah.
that's
And
Yeah, it has.
that's like that's so cool. It's just like I love the thought about the fact that you look up onto something and it's literally like crafted into like an actual vision and brought before your eyes. And yeah,
yeah,
like that's how I got introduced. So like yeah, my introduction to superhero was like, you could probably say it's a little bit cliche, but like if honestly, if I wouldn't have been bullied as a kid, I don't think I would have ever like gotten into the whole genre of superhero. So like I kinda in a very weird way thank for that experience. But
mm.
yeah, so sort of, what about you? How did you like get into this whole genre?
Okay. So my experience started out was when I was 4, and I mean, I was not aware much about superheroes because I was too small.
Yeah.
And the first time I actually watched a proper film in a theater was Harry Potter, right? The Goblet of Fire that released in the year 2004. And I mean, I ended up crying in the theaters because Voldemort was scary. And what actually happened was I got introduced into the pop culture, genre of in the movies especially. So I still remember when I was 5, I actually got a Spider-Man comic book, and subsequently after that, I saw the Sam Raimi films, the first Spider-Man film that was released. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone is aware of Tobey Maguire, and I mean, yeah, that's how actually Spider-Man was like my starting. I started with Spider-Man
I can
as a
relate.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
Yeah.
and it is amazing because see back then CGI was not a big thing, and like Spider-Man achieved that sort of a thing. It kind of it got rave reviews, man. Uh,
You're
and
talking about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man with Willem Dafoe as
yes,
the Green Goblin,
yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes. I mean,
2000.
yeah, 2001, dude. 2002 actually. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
2002. I mean, I was just 2 years old when that movie released, but I mean, I obviously did not watch it in theaters. I watched it in a DVD because
Yeah, I mean,
I
all of us
begged
did
my dad.
that.
Yeah, I begged my dad, buy me this DVD, buy me this DVD. And then he was like, okay, fine. And, I played it on my TV. And then, I was like, oh my God, this is how amazing it is. And yeah, I mean, that's where my start was. And you know what? I mean, back in 2008 when Iron Man released, I was not even interested, man. I didn't even give a shit about Iron Man. I'm not even kidding. Because he was not a popular character.
Yeah, exactly. That's
And yeah, and see, I mean, I had known that I knew that he existed because I was starting to read comics by the age of 7 and 6. But he was yeah, he just exists so. And I mean, I didn't know who Robert Downey Jr. was. I did not give a shit
I
about
yeah,
him.
and I fucking relate to that on a spiritual level.
Yeah,
Actually, I feel like most
yeah,
of us weren't aware about who Robert Downey Jr. was till like Avengers came out, or
yeah,
like even
exactly.
after that, for that instance.
Yeah, and see, it's just that since I didn't give a shit, I didn't even watch the movies in theaters. I legit I saw the trailer when I was watching Spider-Man 3 in 2007. And
Right.
yeah, and legit I saw the trailer, I'm like, क्या है? मेरे को पता है मार्वल का लोगो है, कुछ तो है चल रहा है. I watched the movie in 2010 when Iron Man 2 released, because I was a little older and I was a little more civilized. I'm like, अच्छा ठीक है, movie देख सकते हैं, Marvel का movie है, चलो. Yeah, so the thing is, I started my I didn't watch Iron Man in theaters, right? I ended up seeing the trailer while
Right.
watching Spider-Man 3, and I was like, ये
Oh,
कौन है?
yeah.
Yeah, right. You
Fuck.
remember doing that as well, right? You remember watching the trailer as well,
Yeah, and it
right?
was so weird, you know. Like
Yeah,
I mean, I used to read Marvel comics, and I
yeah,
knew that Spider-Man and Iron Man are in the same universe. But then
yeah,
I was like,
Yeah.
you know, दो
yeah.
अलग-अलग
ये
movie निकाल
movie
रहे
में
हैं.
क्यों है? Like
हाँ, और ये
exactly, like
साथ में
अलग
क्यों
अलग
है?
movie. Yeah, and उसके बाद so basically what happened was like I didn't give a shit about Iron Man movies, and I ended up watching Iron Man in the year 2010 when Iron Man 2 released in theaters.
Oh, I
Yeah.
fucking love that film too.
Oh, dude, yeah. And then you
Yeah.
know what happened? Like, so my first Marvel film that I actually watched in theaters was Hulk, The
Oh,
Incredible Hulk.
okay. I gotta like just put
Oh,
this out. I'm sorry for
okay.
interrupting. Like, you know, this is like this
Uh-huh.
is just like this is a public speaking announcement, guys.
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk is one of the most underrated MCU films in my opinion.
Yeah, see, it's a
It
good
is.
film.
Yeah,
It
it's
is a
It
a
good
is
really
film.
good film.
fucking amazing. It's one of my favorites. It goes to my
I
top
mean,
10 list. That's how much I like it.
oh, I'm not a fan of the Incredible Hulk films, but I liked Edward Norton actually portraying the character. He had a
He
very good,
he was
he had a very convincing
awesome.
bruise. Yeah. I mean, and he was a lot more serious than Mark Ruffalo. Like, Mark Ruffalo fit the character as a comic, I will say. Like, as a comedy
No, I
Hulk.
mean I don't really mind the
Yeah.
transition that actually happened. It's fine the way they took it
Uh,
ahead. But like, but dude, other than like other than Edward Norton playing the Hulk itself,
hmm.
like Tim Roth as Abomination is actually one of the best castings ever. I'll be
Oh,
very
dude,
honest.
yeah. Like, he looked so cool on screen, dude. Like, I was actually
Dude,
really,
he
I
did
was
like he was
horrified.
psycho as fuck and like it worked. That's the thing, it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, and dude, he was so scary on screen. Like watching as an 8-year old, like
Yeah,
seeing
I
him on
know,
screen,
right?
I was like, holy shit, dude! Like, are you serious? Like, that's a character. Like, that's so scary. Like, I was horrified, dude. I couldn't see that. I'm like, नहीं डर लग रहा है मुझे. Like, that's exactly how my reaction
Yeah,
was.
and like
Like while
I
watching.
completely relate. Incredible Hulk is such a dark film. It is
Yeah, it is.
it is I think that's one of the reasons why it's like not reviewed so well. I mean, it has its structural and flaws in the plot, right? But like,
Yeah, yeah,
Baptiste, what do you
definitely.
think? Like, what is your opinion on the Incredible Hulk film?
I really like The Incredible Hulk because I remember the the first time we saw Hulk on screen, like
Yeah,
when I
that
would think of
weird
Hulk, I
one.
would think of Edward Norton in the role.
Yeah, and before that, there was like I forgot the actor's name. You know the first Hulk film,
Eric, I think Eric, his name is actually Eric, if I'm
Eric
not wrong.
something. Yeah,
Eric
yeah.
Bana or something.
Yeah, Eric Bana,
Yeah,
right, right, Eric Bana, and
yeah,
Sam Elliott is
yeah.
in that film. He plays Thunderbolt Ross.
Uh, oh yeah,
Yeah,
him.
right. And
Yeah,
yeah, so like the Ang Lee one, which had that weird comical transitions, and honestly, that's not like all bad either. Okay, like I don't hate the that Hulk film either. It's like
yeah. I don't know why people
okay, I mean it is
despise.
cringy. I do admit it's like very cringy at some parts, but it's not completely bad. It still sort of did justice to Hulk's character in a way, you
Yeah,
know?
and you know what's the best part about the Hulk film is like the character sketch of Hulk. Like, see, the thing is that, if you see the Mark Ruffalo version of Hulk, he looks a lot more like, chubbier. But like, the one that was presented in like the Incredible Hulk, he looked a lot more ripped. He
The
actually
Incredible
looked
Hulk one is my
angry.
favorite design.
Yeah, yeah. Like, he looked angry. Like, he's gonna rip your face apart.
Yeah,
He's gonna rip you
Also,
apart. Like,
with
yeah,
Hulk as well, like the story calls for him to be terrifying and
yeah,
like
exactly.
exactly.
absolutely, you look at him and you start shivering, sort of a
Yeah,
And
character.
Incredible Hulk captured that essence very well.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it really did. And
Even
then it had to
Avengers
one
did.
up itself with
Pardon?
it had to one up itself with a villain. So then, they created
Abomination.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that is actually terrifying when you realize, because like Hulk being pitted against someone like him but stronger? Because like till
Yeah.
now you are under the impression that no one is stronger than the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what really fucked with my brain? Like in Incredible Hulk,
Yeah.
is that Abomination died.
He doesn't die, dude.
Oh, what?
Yeah, Abomination is still alive in the MCU.
Oh, I mean, is he put in some incarceration or something of
Yeah,
some
yeah,
sort?
he's put in that prison Iron Man visits in Civil War as well.
Oh, the one that has Ross in that, right? No, he goes to Civil War, right? Civil War में जो होता है ना?
The one in the ocean.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn,
the
dude.
ocean, the prison that holds all the super villains. Yeah,
Damn, dude.
Abomination does. At the end, when Hulk is about to choke Abomination with that
Yeah,
chain
yeah.
or something, right? Betty Ross comes and stops him because she's like, "You're not a killer,"
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and that's pretty cool. Like it's like it shows a side of Hulk.
Hmm.
That's like you don't really expect because like see, Hulk is a brash character. Okay, it's like
Hmm.
everything he does has effects and consequences that other than himself a lot of people around him have to face. That's the thing
Exactly.
about
Yeah,
Hulk's
yeah.
character, that he holds a lot of weight on his shoulders when it comes to like existing in general. That's why you see like that whole aspect of Bruce Banner being suicidal or afraid to let this guy out.
Yeah,
And
dude. That guy introduced social distancing.
okay, fuck yeah, exactly. That guy included social distance. That guy would survive coronavirus.
Yeah,
He
like I
also
mean, Bruce Banner.
quarantined himself in Kolkata, if you
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, in the first
Yeah, oh
Avengers
my
movie.
God. Oh yeah, dude. Like he goes to Calcutta and like Scarlett Johansson
Yeah,
comes
I
there.
think that's like
Yeah.
as an Indian kid, all of us can collectively agree. That was like one of our coolest scenes to witness in a superhero movie as a
Dude,
kid for me.
the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
funniest thing in that movie was Mark Ruffalo speaking Hindi. He's like,
Oh
"Dear
my
Ebola."
god. Yes, Direbolo.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I
And we
remember
laughed
that.
our
Oh my
ass off,
fucking
dude.
god. Yeah,
I'm
dude.
like, she comes like, "Bhai, that's the uncle." I'm like, "Dear Ebola," and then he goes. I'm like, dude, how white can you be when you're saying "Dheere
I
bolo"?
mean, do you blame him? He's a fucking
I don't.
American. He just learned the language. He's not gonna lose his accent like that.
Yeah, no, I mean Scarlett Johansson pulled off a very good Russian, man. Like,
Dude,
I
because
mean,
Natasha Romanoff is the character is
no, but
Russian
dude,
herself.
No, but
I
like she
know, but
pulled it off.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
she's
that's
American
true.
as well. Like,
But for
in
that
terms of,
instance, Chris Evans pulled off like the most basic bitch American for Captain America too. That way, like the proper ideal American man.
oh yeah, dude,
The get
I
the
think
Star
he just
Spangled
I
Banner.
think he had it down when he was born as a white American, honestly.
But dude, what's the like? This guy has portrayed two American superheroes
And the
in
thing
his
is, if you
life.
compare it to his other roles, you cannot actually see Chris Evans as Steve Rogers after watching like the first two Fantastic Four movies
Yeah,
or Scott
exactly.
Yeah.
Pilgrim versus the World for that instance. It's like Chris Evans is a terrific actor who's we weren't like aware of for a very long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I
And
think Marvel really does this where it picks up these actors that they're considered no names in Hollywood, but then they
Yeah.
turn out to be literally the highest earning actors of all time,
Yeah,
sort of.
they're
oh
A-listed
yeah, dude.
now. Like, you recognize actors from the MCU now. That's the thing though.
Yeah.
That it's changed cinema so much. Like, I remember like these days, any movie that comes out, there is one or the other actor who's involved in like I'm talking about like mainstream cinema, like the popular
Yeah,
Yeah.
movies, not artistic
Uh,
film. But like they will have at least one or the other cast member who either have a very small role in the MCU or would have had a very big role in the MCU or something or the other. Like MCU is right now so big. Like the family in MCU is so big, it almost makes up the current casting situation of Hollywood in a way. Like you get what I mean?
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Like
But do you know this that like Marvel before they started the MCU, like I mean, obviously Kevin Feige is the head, right? And he wanted to make the first Iron Man film,
yeah.
and and John Favreau directed the film, so he wanted to cast Robert Downey Jr. But before all of this happened, like Marvel was going through like were going through like
Yeah, yeah,
issues,
they were
dude. Like,
bankrupt. That's why
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they
exactly.
sold the rights to Spider-Man for like a live action
X-Men,
display and X-Men and
yeah,
Fantastic Four to
yeah.
Fox, right? So like
Yeah,
as
and
a kid, I never really knew the politics behind these characters, right?
yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know like why like I'm like dude okay यहाँ पे 20th Century Fox है, यहाँ पे literally Sony है, और यहाँ पे literally MCU Disney like Disney का नाम भी नहीं आता, बस MCU का नाम आता है like
But like
Marvel
for me as
Universe.
a kid, I never realized that either. See, for me it was like Avengers निकल गई, ठीक है? Avengers comes out,
हाँ,
and then I'm like wondering why Spider-Man never showing up. I've read the comics.
yeah,
Spider-Man is
yeah,
a
oh
yeah.
big
yeah,
part
dude.
in the Avengers. Why
That was one of
isn't
my
he
pet
here?
peeves, man. That was one of my
Yeah,
pet peeves. Like like Spider-Man क्यों नहीं है यहाँ पे?
exactly. And then it was also like, why is Fantastic Four not here in this universe as well? And this is like, you're completely oblivious to the whole, politics of these characters belonging to different studios and everything. And you just like, as a kid, I'm just like so fucking confused. And then like eventually I get in deeper into it and I understand, like, there are these rights to these characters and everything. And come on, like, think about it. The MCU was honestly is okay. It in history it should go down as one of the biggest cinematic risks ever taken.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah, I
and
do
that has
believe
paid
that.
off very well. Like
Yeah, I mean it worked out
and
very well for
all
him.
credits, and the credit goes to the directors, man. I mean, MCU has like
Kevin Feige, my
knows,
friend.
yeah,
I like
he knows how to like get the directors because because most of the MCU directors, okay, were not famous. They just like had done good
exactly.
shit.
They
They like
actually even made horrible movies for that instance, but like
yeah,
MCU gave them some sort of creative control with respect to other guidance and like, dude, we're
yeah,
watching like you never see an MCU movie with horrible ratings or bad ratings. You might see like average to good ratings, but like there is no
yeah,
MCU movie that I'm aware of which has like bad ratings, Like personally fans might despise or detest a particular film, but it's like
yeah,
never
but
Yeah,
like
I've never seen it go lower than like 70 or 60.
60%. Like the lowest rated MCU film is I think Thor: The Dark World, which is I think at 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. And
hmm.
there's nothing lower than that. It's like, dude, you can't fight with that thing. And there are like 23 movies for fuck's sake, 23, 24
Oh
movies.
yeah, yeah, 23, I guess, not 24. I mean,
Yeah, and there are
Yeah,
TV shows too. I mean, TV show part we can't say the same. We have like three shitty three to like yeah. Let's not go into the TV universe of Marvel
yeah.
as of now.
yeah, I mean,
But
not.
yeah, like this is fucking beautiful. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, guys,
Yeah,
your opinion on this. Do you think, to a certain extent, that MCU has become overrated?
definitely.
Yeah, to a
Yeah.
certain extent, it has become overrated.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but like, there are like people I meet on a regular basis who have never read the comics, and it's fine, it's totally fine कि तुमने comics नहीं पढ़ा है, but these people so confidently come and
With preconceived notions, right?
yeah, no, they just come and confidently like tell you the backstory of the character, okay, which is different, like it's very different in the
Yeah,
comics as
exactly.
opposed to the
I mean, I
movies.
won't say very different, but like, yeah, it does differ here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, and like and they confidently come and faff like bro, I'm a avid superhero fan.
I know
मैंने
everything
like
about this character,
yeah,
bro.
I'm like dude, you don't. And then they, and the thing is that they come and start arguing with a guy who's read comics for the past like 7-8 years before he started watching movies.
Longer than that, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, people come and confidently argue with me, and they're like, bro, देख तूने comics पढ़ा है, मैंने MCU देखा है. Like, like with such, like, I don't know, dude, how? Like,
See, I
I
mean,
mean,
not to sound like toxic fandom here, okay, but like it does like it's not like I like yeah even for like the way you said, even that triggers me a little bit when someone comes up to me and tells me like everything about a character just from the movies. Okay, like okay, you can just like I get it that for you everything refers to like the content you have been induced to on screen, but like to
yeah,
really really know everything you have to get to the deeper aspects of it. Like there are things about like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine, and all these characters that I can vouch on the fact that keep 10 people in front of me, 8 out of them won't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like that kind of a
exactly.
thing. It's not. I'm not
Yeah,
like bragging or flexing. It's just like that's just how it is. You
yeah,
know.
And every MCU fan comes to me because see, thing is, I don't know what people think about this, but see, I started with comics, right? And even though I started with Spider-Man, I eventually moved to DC.
Right.
And I mean, see, thing is, contrary to what people think about DC as a comic,
It's
like as just
beautiful.
yeah, I like Marvel as a comic, in my opinion, failed because see,
To the
Marvel,
later years, right?
yeah,
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, definitely. I agree with what you're saying, but like, see, there's an up and down thing. Okay, like DC had a good run, Marvel had a good run, but then like both like, I mean, we're not really here to talk about like the comical aspects, like the comic and the graphic
yeah.
novel aspects of these characters, but like
Mm.
just like scratching the surface, it's like they both have had their ups and downs. Like DC Rebirth is one of the best runs I've ever seen for the DC
Oh
comics. But
yeah,
then, like
definitely.
after
Yeah.
DC Rebirth, the
The
stuff
new
that they,
52.
yeah,
The
I
new
mean, New
52.
52 is like,
Okay, it's not bad, but like it's
yeah. I
it's
mean, it
it's
has
just
some
there.
good stories, but it's not all consistent. Rebirth was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Everything about
Rebirth
the
and pre-crisis, like the
pre-crisis,
post-crisis.
exactly. And
Yeah,
even
it
with
had good
Marvel,
runs.
the whole ultimate wave is something that I didn't really enjoy or resonate with much. I like the
Hmm.
original wave a lot more, but then like yeah, they came around. It's like yeah, like the comic thing is something that like it's up and down. It's not like like it's not like a stagnant thing, like not a particular wave. So like I don't really
Yeah,
compare both the comics when it comes to that way. But like
yeah,
yeah,
but
DC
like
definitely has one of the more darker comics compared to Marvel.
yeah, so like this is what happens to me, all right? Like people like they ask me like if I'm a DC fan or a Marvel fan, and see, thing is, I take it as a whole. I don't just take it as a movie or comics. I just like I'm like, dude, I'm a DC fan, and they
Yeah.
look at me at such disdain. They're like, "इन्हें क्या चूतिया है तू DC fan कैसे हो सकता है? Marvel का movie कितना अच्छा है?" Like, dude, listen, I read comics. I find DC better, my preference. People are like, hey, dude, DC's chutia, DC ka Batman vs Superman fail ho gaya. I'm like, yeah, I know, but like, movies and comics are very different.
Yeah, exactly.
And
They're
it's
not the
one thing that
same.
people just keep bashing you for. Like, I don't know, man. It's just,
It's very
it,
annoying.
Also
yeah, it
with
is,
like,
man.
I think with like DC, they also handle themes that are just very, mature in some sort
Yeah,
of way.
Yeah,
that's the
I
Like
thing
they
they've
agree.
been
have,
doing for a very long time, actually.
yeah, they have been, having themes that are, a lot. There's almost a taboo to talk about.
Yeah, psychological
Yeah,
driven, like the character of Joker itself.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
The
Yeah.
whole Batman's itself Gotham universe is like so fucked up, honestly. I mean, that's why like we have like these R-rated TV shows in the DC universe like Titans or
Yeah.
yeah.
what
Even Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol,
Doom
Titans.
Patrol,
I
yeah.
forgot what the fuck was it. What was that show, dude? That's
Swamp
also
Thing.
no. It's also like it's also mature that way.
Gotham, right?
Yeah,
Gotham.
Gotham. Fuck
Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
okay, okay. But
Gotham
Gotham
is
is
fuck.
R-rated. I didn't know. I watched it in
It's
TV, bro.
no, it's like a mature
It's
Ah, I
not
sort
mean,
of
yeah,
R.
the
way.
I
content
mean,
is
yeah, it's like it
it's
doesn't
a
have
16 plus.
sexual content.
It's like a
Yeah.
16 plus sort of content, yeah.
Also in the TV, you get sort of the censored version,
Yeah,
like
oh yeah.
on the
Yeah.
I
cable.
mean,
But
yeah, that's
Gotham is
true.
fucked on a different level altogether. It's so dark and brutal. I mean,
Yeah, but it's one of the most beautiful like TV shows I've seen.
yeah,
Like,
but it's not consistent either. They did screw up in between with the
I
characters.
mean, yeah, but like I still forgive Gotham for it because they actually ended on a good note.
That's
Like,
true, but
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
whole thing where they did where Penguin and Riddler were having like some sort of a, like a romantic interest. Like, okay, I'm not homophobic or something, but it's like it's just unnecessary in my opinion. Like that's something those characters don't care about. Like it's not
hmm,
one of their personality traits, and I get it. Like these days, the entire thing is like to make these characters more socially relevant, and giving all these different aspects to them to
hmm.
like be more like quoted woke, and that's fine with me. But like like we both know that Edward Nigma or Oswald Cobblepot as a character of Penguin or Riddler,
Yeah,
they don't give two shits about romance, love, or anything. That's the thing about
yeah, they
God.
just want to
Like,
kill people, dude.
yeah, they
Like,
want to do their crime. So like to
yeah,
give these a
yeah.
little edge is like just unnecessary. Like, I mean, I get it if you want to influence. Like I like the fact like how they did with Barbara Gordon instead, like portraying her as a lesbian, because I don't
Uh,
remember reading like that ever in the comics, or the fact that Barbara Gordon is some like crazy serial killer now or psychopath, you know. But like that was
yeah.
pretty cool. Like that new personality trait that they gave Barbara Gordon in the Gotham show was something that I really, 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 really enjoyed. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that was pretty beautiful. But like also like that brings back to that argument, like how people think like the MCU creative control is extremely homophobic. You know,
Is that so?
Yeah.
Like,
there was a
is it?
lot of fuss about it because like Taika Waititi and a lot of other directors tried to pitch characters who were like more diverse when it comes to their sexuality and gender. Right,
Wait,
Pankaj?
Isn't Valkyrie the first LGBT character in
Yeah, that's something Taika
See,
Waititi
I
has
think
said, but it's
with
not.
uh
Valkyrie, he said that, and he had included a scene that sort of confirmed it, but it got removed in the final cut.
Yeah,
But
oh
I think they approached it like that. I remember Tessa Thompson also talking about it.
but like
But
it's not
yeah,
something like an official statement by like the MCU itself. It's a director saying, but it's like till we actually see this lane be chased or covered in the future movies, it's not
hmm.
something that we all can completely vouch for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
yeah. Also,
I'm
I think
Yeah,
having Disney as a corporation itself, and like the fact that Disney is also not very inclusive of LGBT
right, right.
characters. I think that also adds to
Yeah,
the
I think
fact
that's
that
one of the reasons for the Marvel movies to not have these
yeah,
characters.
they're afraid of losing viewership. Like
Yeah,
if they were to make a main character, gay or lesbian, then a lot of they might lose a lot of their viewers because people are still
right,
very
right.
against it.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, even
That
for
comes
that
into
instance, it took so long for the MCU itself to approach a character of different race. And why, when I'm saying this, I'm referring to Black Panther.
Panther. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
Like
Black Panther is the first superhero film about which is
that has
centered
black
around
cast.
like the whole race of African Americans. Like, it's
Yeah, like
not
it has an
predominantly
entire.
white.
Yeah, I mean there was just Ross.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
yeah,
Thaddeus Ross, right? If I'm not wrong, I
Yeah,
forgot
and
his name.
Andy
yeah. Totally.
Serkis's
Andy Serkis, yeah.
Claw.
They were the only two white characters in the entirety of Black Panther. Everyone else was like African
But
Americans.
yeah, like
And it
that's
was
a
also very politically loaded at times as well. And I think that really it knew its audience and it knew what it was going to be.
but yeah, like that also brings us back to the fact that it took so long for like this movie to come out too. Like Black Panther as a character could have been introduced honestly quite a while back when they set up the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
concept of vibranium existing in Captain America. I
Yeah,
remember everyone was looking forward to the fact that Black Panther exists now, in this
yeah, like
universe.
and dude, like Black Panther happens to be the most richest superhero in
Exactly.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
entirety of all universes, including DC, Image, everyone.
And that breaks a big stigma about
Yeah,
black people in general, like the stereotype
yeah,
about the fact that
exactly.
all black
Yeah.
people are
And then you also have
gangster.
like Shuri, who's like this 15-year-old girl, and she's also, you know, she's
So
tech
fucking
level with
smart.
Tony Stark. Yeah.
Oh
Smarter than
yeah.
Tony, actually.
She's actually
No, the
supposed to
thing
be
is,
smarter.
yeah, I would like to interrupt here and I would like to bring in a point. The thing is that the reason, like, she's said to be one of the smartest characters, yes, she is. Because, like, from like, as a child, she always had vibranium to play around with.
I feel
But,
like
like,
this is
Yeah.
an argument everyone uses to justify Shuri's smartness, but like,
yeah, no, it's just no. I'm not denying that she's not smart, but like calling her smarter than Tony. I mean, I personally am offended with that. Considering, see, the thing is that if you have a box of scraps, all right, which like Tony made an arc reactor from that he could fit in his chest
he didn't
so that
make
he
an
could
arc
escape.
from a box of scraps. He used
I
Jericho
mean,
missiles to make his arc
no,
reactor.
bro. I mean, box like I mean, I don't
He
mean to
made
say
his
box of
first
scraps as
armor
in
with a box
yeah,
of scraps in a cave.
he
Yeah,
In a
didn't
exactly.
metaphorical way, you could say that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like if you left Shuri in that sort of a place, I don't think she would have come up with such intricate tech because the thing is that she see it's like how person in the future has a lot more prospects in terms of technology, but if you bring them in the past, they would have a lot more trouble trying to figure out how to
Yeah,
use it.
I get what
It's
you
that.
mean,
That's
but
how
like,
Shuri and Tony are like.
but also like, here's the thing though, right? We can't really, completely make this, what do you say, this judgment or this opinion, considering the fact that that's true that Shuri has been exposed to this level of technological advancement at a very young age,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's worked around it for her entire life basically.
Hmm.
But like we haven't, but it's also like, you haven't really seen her without it work either, to say that she can't do it. Like that's a side
Yeah.
of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't just jump to the conclusion that, like, if they made the first Iron Man movie with the fact that he didn't get shot and everything, he just made an armor like that, I don't think we would have been able to make this argument now. We've seen that struggle for Tony Stark. But I would also like to bring back a point that, I mean, Shuri figured out how to separate an Infinity Stone from a vibranium cyborg humanoid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
The
She
a
did. Yeah.
Infinity
very
War.
big deal, considering the fact that an Infinity Stone is something that's like a cosmic level entity. Okay?
But I don't know. I'm very sloppy in that area. Like I feel like, it's like how Bruce Banner comes in and says that, we didn't just think of it. I mean, it was like, yeah, it's just that they've tried so many new like possibilities. They just didn't think of that as an idea. It's just that I don't feel like it's like she figured it out. I mean, it's sort of the thing that she knew that this is how it's supposed to work because she's played around with a lot of technology. She
Yeah,
knows what
but
she's
like
doing.
playing around with a lot of technology and being exposed to a cosmic level entity is two different things, dude. You can't really compare the both of them because, like,
Yeah. I
an
mean,
Infinity Stone is at the end of the day something that none of the people have unlocked.
I mean, yeah, makes
and
sense.
at the end of things, she was the one that separated it.
Hmm.
Almost did, but then like Corvus Glaive came and like ruined everything. But like, yeah, she
Yeah.
basically did. So that does put her on a higher scale than Tony Stark, and I don't really feel like Tony as a person would be like feel competitive about that, because like the MCU version of Tony Stark is less narcissistic, and he has had a lot of character development from the first Iron Man movie till Avengers Endgame, and
Yeah.
through his
Yeah.
interaction with Peter Parker, Tony has become more and more softer to the idea of being a mentor figure. So to have a legacy of smart people is something that I don't think Tony, if he were to be alive in the MCU today, would feel something as a competition to himself. I think he'd rather be proud about the fact that Shuri is smarter than him.
Yeah. Really, I agree with you
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
true.
Like, he's very encouraging of the younger generations. Like the part in Civil War, I think, where he funds the
Yeah.
college
So
project at the
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah, yeah.
beginning. Yeah,
Oh yeah, he
he's
did have
he's
that.
shown to be very encouraging of advancements in technology. And we didn't get a big interaction of Shuri and Iron Man. I don't think we got
Any
any at
interaction.
all. Yeah. So if that would have happened, I think maybe they would have done something with it.
Yeah, and I feel like exploring an arc with Tony, Peter Parker, and Shuri would have been something we've seen a lot in like all those Tumblr posts and fan arts. But like but like those posts they feel relevant because knowing Tony Stark's character, the way it has evolved from that time frame till now, it's like I feel like those posts they're not just like some blind fan fiction, but they're also like they make sense. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's the way Tony would react. And
Yeah, I think with a lot of like Tumblr posts and everything, they kind of have the characters, they kind of get them. But a lot of people look down on that kind of creative fan work.
yeah, I mean
Yeah,
yeah, obviously it's not all good. Okay, I'm not gonna deny
it's
that.
not all good, yeah.
But
But
then
then
it
there's
has
also
its
like,
parts.
yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of analysis as well, which is really great. I
Yeah, I like that. I'm not a big fan of Tumblr per se, but I
think.
have to
Yeah,
admit, like, not all of it is like as bad that maybe I would have had an opinion on it for. But
Yeah.
yeah, like one thing as an MCU fan, I mean, guilty, and I don't really feel ashamed about this, but like I cried when Iron Man died in Endgame, even Black Widow for that instance. Like I cried like thrice in that movie, and when I say cry, I was like bawling my eyes out as if I'm drunk in a corner, heartbroken. That's how like I was crying, and it's like
I
it's so weird, because for the part that I know myself, I'm not the kind of person who would generally cry in movies and TV shows and shit. But like I feel like because of the emotional sentiment I hold to the characters of superheroes since I was a kid, it really affected me. Because like I remember even in Logan, I was in tears. I didn't cry per se, but
Oh,
I was in
bro.
tears.
Dude, Logan was like Logan actually like Logan was the first superhero movie that made me cry.
I
Like,
mean, I'm getting like heavy just like talking about it now. But
yeah,
like Logan was beautiful. It's literally one of the
yeah.
best
This is
superhero
the
movies ever
perfect
made.
conclusion. It was a perfect conclusion to the X-Men series as a whole.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
same
Yeah,
goes for Iron Man too. And the worst part is like after this conclusion, it's like there are so many elements that you wish these characters would have explored. Like as much as you're satisfied with the way they probably ended them, you're just also sad about the fact that you wanted to explore more. You wanted to see more with these characters. I feel like that's an emptiness that we never really can fill.
yeah,
Also,
true.
like, you have had these movies for like 10 years now because, like,
Yeah.
way back in 2008, they started off with this, like, huge risk. And now to watch the character that started it all to, like, die on screen and like that. And after everyone has called Tony, like, greedy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
self
makes sense.
absorbed and
Makes
stuff,
sense
for
indeed.
him
Yeah.
to be the only person that gave that kind of sacrifice, I think that also, added to my tears.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
also like the thing is that the reason why Tony's sacrifice is a big deal for me personally is not just because like he killed Thanos and the entire army of I forgot what those creatures were called. Fuck.
The
Uh,
Chitauri.
no, not the Chitauri, dude. The Thanos' army basically.
Oh, okay.
God damn it. I don't know why I'm forgetting things now, but yeah. Like, the reason why Tony's sacrifice is so big is considering the fact it's like Morgan has a big play in it. Morgan Stark. Tony
Yeah.
has had to leave behind the only chance of him having a family and watching his kids grow up. It's very, very, in parallel with how his parents died too in the MCU,
Hmm.
or in
Yeah.
as a character itself. It's like Howard Stark and Maria Stark are people who never really got to see Tony grow up as a man. Like they know
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
seen the last of Tony as like a teenage boy or a young adult. They never really gotten the chance to see Tony become what we all have. And that's a sacrifice Tony has also had to make with his
For
daughter.
Morgan.
And
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not a parent, okay, but I'm pretty sure, like, if my mom or my dad had to give up on something like that, that's something like, that's a very big deal, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that just like, that changes so many things about this entire thing. Like, like, I can't believe, like, the pain Anthony Tony Stark would have gone through to realize that he's never going to be able to grow up and see his daughter again. And it's like that, like the quotes Captain America says, "We don't trade lives,"
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it's like Tony was aware, that he doesn't wanna, see everything go down and like doom Armageddon, and he did trade his life,
He
I mean,
did.
yeah,
Yeah.
that happened in the end.
and
But,
yeah, so
dude, do you realize this? That, like, despite whatever Tony did, like, in the movies, like, I mean, see, it's technically the contract getting over from Marvel of Robert Downey
also it's
Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Coming to terms with his role as Iron Man too.
Yeah, it's just that like how like empty like it feels without Robert Downey Jr. So like seeing the future of Marvel, what do you see? Like what do you see MCU as?
We have
Like
no vision now. We have no idea what to expect. Like, all of us are completely blank to see what actually. I mean, we have the Black Widow movie, but that's a prequel. We all know, right?
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
we have Deadpool, man. Holy fuck. How can we not talk about Deadpool when we were discussing for so long about Marvel?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get into that. But like, but like when it comes to the MCU now, we have actually nothing to we have no idea what to expect. Like we know like there are these movies and all these characters and these new characters that Marvel is introducing and everything. But it's just like in the beginning you had a pace, like you were like, okay, ये सारी movie आएंगी and then they will all bring them together in an Avengers film. Right? This is like the
Yeah.
opinion we all had, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
and
Yeah.
We haven't
now
had that
it's
sort
just
of
like,
thing.
okay, what's gonna happen now?
Yeah, there's no literally like the people that were supposed to be there left Earth, and the ones that sacrificed their lives, one went to the past, one another one sacrificed their life by snapping fingers.
Basically, they all
Another,
died in a way or not.
yeah,
Yeah.
like there is literally no cohesion in this. Like Hulk is the only guy who's staying in Earth, who's staying on Earth. Sorry, my bad. And yeah, that's it. Like, and he has a arm that cannot be fixed for life.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really like Hulk's character much in Thor Ragnarok, if I'll be very honest.
In Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved like I think Ragnarok is one of my favorite films.
I do
Yeah.
love
Like
the movie a
One of
lot.
my
yeah, and I predominantly like it because of Hulk because like they portrayed Hulk in the in the more comedic fashion
Yeah,
rather
that's
than
something that I didn't really enjoy much. That's something that I like come an opinion that I don't share with a lot of people. Because it's like, Prabhat said before, like, the whole aspect of portraying Hulk in the Incredible Hulk, the way he's been shown, you know,
Hmm.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
that's like, I mean, I get it. That's a more immature Hulk, if that's the right way to put it, because that's a
Uh,
Hulk who's still fighting with Bruce Banner for control.
yeah.
Yeah.
And now the Hulk that we had in Ragnarok was like a big comic relief. And like, I mean, Taika Waititi used it extremely smartly. Like, I
Yeah.
have nothing
Yeah.
against the way the character has been written and the way it has been portrayed in the film. It's just like I'm not a big fan of the idea of Hulk being a comic relief. Like, you get what I'm
Uh,
saying?
he deserves to be more in the serious side, like just
Yeah,
smashing things. Yeah. That's
But
what Hulk is made for.
also, I think the way the path that they have taken to sort of change Hulk's character throughout all the films also plays in it. Because, like,
right.
if you remember Age of Ultron, Hulk goes on that rampage,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then he sort of, has to. He leaves at the end of the film, right? And then he ends up on Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok. So it's
Yeah.
like he's also going through this evolution of beast to a comic relief sort of thing. And I get why you
Yeah.
wouldn't like it. Actually, I totally understand where you're coming
Yeah, because like the way Age of Ultron ended things for the character Hulk, you would expect it to be more feral and violent
Mm.
now, considering that's the side of him being fed into in the whole gladiator pit. You
Yeah.
wouldn't really expect Hulk to be sophisticated the way he turned out to be. You know,
No, but see, the thing is, the character development that came in when he went to the gladiator belt, right? The thing is that everyone was scared of him on Earth, right?
that's true.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and coming to that gladiator belt, he actually got what he deserved. He legit was like cheered on by people. They're like, "देखो देखो Hulk आ गया."
Yeah, that's something
And
Yeah.
Hulk wanted. He wanted to be loved, right?
yeah,
And he
and
got
Yeah.
see,
that.
the thing is, Hulk is like a baby, dude. He has a baby. He's like a man child.
He
Okay.
is.
Yeah, and see the thing is that and so when he got love, right, he didn't expect that. So like I think that's the part of character development that I liked about Hulk
I
in the
agree with you
entirety
on
of
that one.
Ragnarok.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
like
I
yeah,
agree.
he became softer, but like yeah, I mean when he turned back to Bruce Banner and then he went back to being Hulk, like he just became like I mean yeah, it did sort of put Hulk in a more weaker scenario because
It
Hulk is
did.
not supposed to be like that. Hulk is supposed to be like
Yeah.
rampaging throughout everything, killing everything that's
Right,
coming
that's
on
that's
their
the
way
way Hulk's supposed.
and
But like
smashing,
I get
smashing.
it.
Yeah,
Like I like the development of Hulk because even the
yeah,
comics have seen Hulk become more sophisticated in several
yeah,
Yeah.
arcs too.
And then, like,
But
it all leads up to Professor Hulk as a character as well.
I like
oh
Professor Hulk
yeah,
as a character.
Yeah.
yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like I didn't expect to like Professor Hulk. I mean, I was really excited for Smart Hulk in general, but then like they really pulled it off in Endgame for me. But
Yeah,
like,
and like he had the perfect like balance of like like I couldn't expect like Banner speaking in the Hulk form, like like
yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with
like
what you're saying.
yeah, like I was legit like, dude, तू Hulk है, like you should be a retard. Why are you not a retard?
And like that was comic relief also done right, because like at this
Yeah,
point it didn't
exactly.
feel forced. It was just natural.
Yeah, exactly. Like
And like also, but honestly, if I really want to talk about it, then my favorite interpretation of Hulk would definitely be the one you've seen in Avengers. Because like in
oh yeah,
Avengers, you see Hulk in his prime glory. You are scared of Hulk in Avengers, in my
oh
opinion.
yeah,
Like
oh
that
yeah.
scene when he's chasing Black Widow through the helicarrier.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
Black Widow almost shat herself.
Dude,
Like
that
in
whole
the
transformation scene is so fucking beautiful in general. Like, oh
yeah.
my god. But
But like say, this is one thing that really again messes with my head is that like he's starting to get angry and then he turns into Hulk and then he comes back later with like the Chitauri army attacking New York and then he's
yeah,
like it's a very good time to bring the other guy out and like it's secret cap, I'm always angry, and then he turns into Hulk out of nowhere.
fucking
I mean that was a
amazing.
very yeah, but like the transformation scene is good, like it's great. But that was like I don't know. I kind of found it like a little plot hole of a thing where like he's trying to like he's been trying to show like all this while that he doesn't get angry. Like
Yeah.
he is in control of the form, but but in the end he just decides to like unleash like he's always there like at the end of Incredible Hulk, I'm pretty sure we all knew like he was meditating and then his eyes turned green.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think sort of you may have interpreted it wrong. Because I think by
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
scene, it was more like talking about the fact that how Bruce Banner has, on some levels, if not entirely, up to a major
Yeah,
extent,
Yeah.
control over like the form of Hulk.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
we see that conflict that he doesn't have all control. He loses his control for the most part with the whole Black Widow thing, how Loki provokes
yeah,
him.
Yeah.
exactly.
But
Hmm.
like towards the end, you also see him gain control. So it's like there's that character dynamic that's there. But I mean, I think I understand what you're also trying to say. But
Hmm.
for me, I didn't really feel like it was a plot hole. It was rather like pretty cool, considering the fact that I was becoming more and more comic accurate towards like
Hmm.
Hulk character arc in the future of the comics as well. But
Definitely.
yeah, like
Yeah.
all this like narrows it down to the fact that MCU, it had a rough start in terms you could say like production and financially and everything. Because like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iron Man 1 never had a proper script.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
mostly very, I think it was more improvised
It was
throughout.
extremely improvised. So
Yeah, and I think Marvel follows that sort of a pattern. I think like the characters that are being played by the actors, they kind of bring their improvisational aspect to the character, hence making it a much better. Like they don't have full
yeah,
like control over the character, but like to some extent they know like this is how they interpret it, so this is how they should be doing it.
but
Yeah.
like
I
that's like
remember like
yeah, sorry, you were
in
saying.
Infinity War and Endgame, a lot of the lines that uh, that were fan favorites turned out to
Yeah,
be improvised by the actors.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And I feel like
Yeah,
that's
like
something the actors have done because they're so like, comfortable with the characters now.
yeah, and like the Peter when he gets dusted in Infinity War.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah,
my
I think
god.
yeah, that scene was completely improvised if I'm
improvised.
not wrong.
And it
Yeah,
makes
he was.
sense. That's the
Yeah,
thing though.
because they've been doing these characters for a while and they get them and they know how they would react,
They
you know?
have the knowledge about them. Right, right.
But
I get it.
the best part of like doing all of these movies, right? The actors themselves like get to watch themselves on the big screen and they're like, hey dude, देख मैं Iron Man जैसा हूँ. Like, like imagine, like see हम देख के हम लोग को excitement होता है कि like, oh dude, look at Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. But like it's like imagine like Robert Downey Jr. himself seeing as Tony Stark and he's like he's wearing that suit of armor. And he's like, dude, fuck, I'm so cool. Like, I have a suit of armor around me.
Yeah,
And like, you know what? I can fly. Like, it's weird, dude. Like, after a point, it's like it's not even Robert Downey Jr. anymore. It's just Tony Stark
Yeah, I
yeah.
I get
throughout.
it.
Like you can't even see a difference anymore.
Yeah, like if you see Ryan Reynolds, I can't see him anything else except Deadpool.
Green
Even outside
Lantern.
Deadpool. No, no, no.
I'm
Okay, guys.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, yeah, no, but like if you see Ryan Reynolds in every movie out there, okay, including Green Lantern, right? Even
Oh my
the comedic style and
God.
everything. Okay, his comedic style, everything. Like like now that I see Deadpool, it's like yeah, it is more clear that he was born to play this
Yeah, there are
character.
just these
Yeah.
actors who are born for these roles and just like
Yeah,
out there.
like dude, like the way he says shit all throughout the movies and everything. Like Ryan Reynolds especially, I go through YouTube comments on Ryan Reynolds' videos on YouTube, and he's like, look at Deadpool playing Ryan Reynolds. This is one of the most common
Yeah.
like comment threads that you will see among all Ryan Reynolds videos. And it's amazing, dude. Like, this guy actually, like, this guy is so interactively funny. Like,
The whole fourth wall thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like after a point, I'm like, dude, are you sure you're not from an alternate universe? Are you sure you're not Deadpool for real? Like,
But yeah, like for that instance, like MCU has done extremely well for its
yeah,
start and the way it's going right now. Fox
definitely.
has been ups and downs, and now it's just down because like
No, but finally.
Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix were horrible,
Yeah, I mean,
and
let's not talk about them.
yeah, like but Fox has its share of good X-Men movies too.
No, I mean, Fox has had a good share of most good X-Men movies, but like
Yeah.
in the end, the timeline shit that fucked up there,
They
like
their
Apocalypse
act
and
they're fucking rebooting the timeline every
The
three
yeah,
films is
reboot was
something.
really bad.
Yeah, like I love Sophie Turner. I'm a massive Game of Thrones fan, so I love Sophie Turner. But like, it's just like that reboot was horrible.
yeah, but like, the
Yeah.
thing is that I like Days of Future Past.
Oh,
It was
I
not
fucking
bad.
love that movie. It's one of
It
the
was
best
not.
X movies fucking ever made.
I mean, I don't disagree. I prefer like Logan as a best X-Men movie, but
No, Logan is a Logan film.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a standalone film, but like
As
if
an
you ask me about
X-Men film, Days of Future Past is the best X-Men film ever made.
no,
As the
I like
team.
First Class. I like First Class. First Class was actually good.
Oh
Like I
my
like,
god, man.
yeah,
Oh fucking hell. I love First Class as well.
yeah. I
So
think
yeah,
that's my
like
favorite X-Men film.
Fox has its share of good X-Men movies too.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four is
Yeah.
a cursed, cursed. Just it's just a cursed, film in general. It's just like at
no,
this
but
point.
like that's the second reboot that actually I thought like was really in the first reboot.
I
Like
mean,
okay, unpopular opinion maybe, but it wasn't that bad. Like people
yeah. I
said it
don't
was.
hate it.
I mean,
It's
Yeah,
okay.
Rise of
Yeah.
Silver Surfer was still fine, I feel, but like the
yeah.
Fantastic Four movie was. eh.
No, I mean,
I mean, the
like the reason
casting was
why I
great.
watched,
I think the casting
yeah,
went
like
well.
the reason why I watched the film was because of Jessica Alba,
Okay,
obviously. I'm just kidding,
your,
no.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
no, it's fine. I
Um,
get it.
it's
But
not
like,
my carnal desires coming into place. It's not that. But I think like watching Fantastic Four was not a bad experience. I felt like it was not as
it
bad
was
as
a
people
fun movie,
say.
but I won't call it a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a light-hearted, one of the light-hearted Marvel films
It was
I've seen.
very conflicted with its own. It didn't know what the movie was doing, but like,
Yeah,
but yeah,
very
I would like
bland.
to see a good
Consistency nahi
Fantastic
hai.
Four movie now that
Yeah, Fox
the
has
Yeah.
Fox
Marvel
characters
has
are in the MCU, and
yeah.
like I would like to see like the whole Spider-Man shit sorted out too. So like we don't have to worry about Peter Parker leaving our beloved characters anytime soon.
That's true. That's true,
And
man.
I'm excited for
Yeah.
Venom 2. I hated the first Venom film, but I'm excited for Venom
No,
2.
I didn't hate it. I liked Hardy playing the character
Yeah,
and
I like
like
the
Hardy is
Hardy.
I mean
really good as
there was this
Eddie.
bland there was I mean the plot was pretty like not consistent and it was
There
very
was no
bland here and
plot,
there.
dude. That's the thing, though. The
I
story
mean
was
yeah,
just pure shit. But like,
yeah, but
yeah, it's just like even
it
Hardy's
did
effort
justice.
couldn't carry the film, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
that the character itself like being there I think saved the film rather
Yeah.
than the I yeah I mean I think everyone agrees with me
But I
here. It's
feel
just
like Venom 2 has hope.
yeah, because
They
it
have like
has really added
established
some.
characters and everything, and they can make a
Yeah,
fine story out of it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
definitely.
also,
And
Morbius is something I look forward to as well.
Same here. But unfortunately,
Let's not talk
coronavirus
about it.
coronavirus is like
Yeah, Prapteja, you were saying something, right?
oh yeah, I was gonna say that Riz Ahmed as the antagonist in Venom didn't do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was
Yeah, I think that was like one of the big bring downs of the film,
Yeah, other than the
but
story itself.
other than the story itself. But sometimes when you have like, you know,
Good
actors that can
characters.
pull it off,
Yeah, they can
good
carry the
characters,
film
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
But they couldn't do that with this one. They really couldn't.
yeah.
But like, yeah, like I mean, Venom 2, I expect it to be definitely better, mostly because Andy Serkis is directing it, and he has a knack for making dark films.
Yeah. And dude,
So
Woody
Yeah,
Harrelson is portraying
I
Carnage.
really
Like,
like Woody Harrelson as an actor in general too. So
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, he's
excited to
really
see
good.
that as well. But like, yeah, like now we've spoken a lot about the MCU,
Yeah,
like
I know. It was like a proper topic. Like, it was like, हम Marvel DC के बारे में discuss करेंगे. But it just like now, the title should be like, it's all about Marvel with a hint of DC. Like that should be the
Yeah,
title
just
now.
a pinch, DC.
yeah, no, but like, yeah, but like, really, like, now if we like get into like the DC aspect of the films, the DCEU, like, it has had a rough fucking start, like, a rough start, a
Yeah,
really rough start,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because
I remember.
the DCEU didn't do well in the beginning, and DC has one of the most interesting characters ever, because like we've had great
Yeah,
DC movies in the past. We've had like
I
really
mean,
great DC movies in the
we had
past.
Nolan, man.
We
We
have
had Nolan.
Christopher
yeah,
motherfucking
yeah.
Nolan make the Batman films, and
And we
still,
had Tim Burton as Joker. Like, not
yeah,
Tim Burton, fuck.
Jack Nicholson
Heath
Sorry, Jack
Ledger.
Nicholson. Fuck. I
and Heath
fucked it up.
Ledger too. So
Heath
yeah, Heath
Ledger.
Yeah,
Ledger,
Yeah.
and it's
yeah,
like
like,
there's like these characters, these arcs, and everything that these directors have constructed, and then you see shit like Suicide Squad, Batman versus Superman, Justice League, and all. It's just like you're disappointed. And the thing is, like, my favorite Batman is obviously Christian Bale. I'm not a big fan of Ben Affleck's Batman. I don't care
oh,
how
he
comic
sucks
accurate
ass.
he looks. It's just like it doesn't fall right for me. And after Justice
Yeah,
League, I
dude,
despise it even more.
Ben Affleck sucks ass, dude.
And
Like,
no, I like Ben Affleck. I wouldn't really say that. He's a
nah,
he's
bro.
a he's a
I
good
didn't like him.
actor.
No, he's a good actor, but he was not a good
Yeah,
Batman,
I
dude.
don't. I wouldn't agree.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. I wouldn't say he's a good Batman
Yeah,
either.
he's too like, and moreover, he like, I don't know what is it with like the DCU characters, but they all look so bulky.
Yeah,
They do,
they're
yeah.
really doing that DC animated wala look for it. It's like the old Justice League and the old
Yeah,
DC animated films had these bulky look for the characters, and I think that's
yeah,
what like
exactly.
that's their inspiration for the DCEU as well. And
Yeah,
like it did
exactly.
pick up though, like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is an amazing casting choice because she really
Yeah.
aces that role very well.
Oh yeah.
Wonder
I
Woman
mean,
isn't really one of my
he
favorite
does.
films, but still, yeah.
No, I mean that's actually. What is your favorite film in DC, guys?
In DCU, like the movie I like the most would probably be Shazam. Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
definitely no.
I think Shazam was
I
good.
think it's Birds of Prey now. I really like Birds of
I
Prey.
loved Birds of Prey. Yeah.
I
Mine.
I love
Uh,
Birds of Prey, and then it's Shazam. Yeah,
Okay, I think for me it was like first was Wonder Woman. I don't know.
I really like.
I may be a little biased towards that movie mainly because of like I think that was the first film that actually properly used a story. Like,
for a
they used
female
the script.
character, right?
Yeah, I mean they did justice to that character as a whole.
I agree
I
with you.
mean,
Yeah,
watching
yeah, yeah.
and technically, like, there was a lot of pressure on that character, like especially Wonder Woman, because she was like Gal Gadot was supposed to be the first woman to headline a superhero film,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and like that put so much pressure onto her, and she nailed it regardless of what came her way.
She
Is what
did. She
makes
really
what
did.
makes the movie like 10 times more amazing. I mean, yeah, I mean, Shazam was great. Like watching like Asher Angel as Billy Batson, and then him turning into like Shazam and like as
Zachary
Yeah,
Levi as Shazam is
they,
perfect
yeah,
casting.
he's
yeah, yeah,
amazing. But like, I mean, I like Wonder Woman better. Like I
yeah.
felt like there was a lot more consistency around the movie. Like the plot went
Right.
perfectly.
Praktij, you
Yeah,
told me that Birds of Prey is something that you really, really enjoyed, in contrast to like
I
a lot of every other superhero movie too.
yeah, I really enjoyed Birds of Prey.
Yeah, do you want to like elaborate on that? Like, why is it that you feel so attached to that film?
It's sort of like, you know how it the character of Harley Quinn is
Right.
very, very sexualized in Suicide Squad
Yeah.
because the camera always frames like around her boobs or around her butt. Like
Yeah.
you guys know the exact scenes I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
understand
like
what you're
you
saying.
realize, and like her entire personality is reduced to like, oh, she's Joker's girlfriend.
It's not even like she's Joker's girlfriend. She's just like it's like more like she's Joker's bitch kind of a thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. She's a
And
plaything.
exactly.
that's how
She's a
that character
plaything.
was
Yeah,
introduced as well. But like,
yeah. And for like Margot Robbie to take control over it with Birds of Prey and have this kind of, it's like a film made for abuse survivors
it's
because I think they
established Harley
can
Quinn
relate.
independently. Yeah, and and abuse is actually a big element in Birds of Prey too, because like Roman Sionis' character is someone who abuses women a lot.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And the
Yeah.
fact that there are men like that still exist.
Yeah, and
And for all the women to carry the entire film, it was amazing to see.
I get it how it's empowering, like there's a lot of debate online sitting like, it's pretty sickening to always see like a very misandrist perspective on characters. And that's an element I've actually seen in movies a lot. That's evidently there. But like the thing is like the way Birds of Prey pulls it off is like it's subtle in my opinion. I mean at some point I do feel like it's like forcing on that whole woke aspect of the movie. But regardless of like the action sequences, the acting and everything, you do enjoy that movie. It's just like Birds of Prey, it's like it really shouldn't work when you think about it, but it
But it
works
does.
too well.
It
Yeah.
works really well. I sort of don't agree with you on the misunderstanding. We've had this debate before,
Yeah.
obviously. But
Okay.
yeah, it
Yeah.
it just it was very empowering in the sense that, also as having a female director, like I don't think a lot of people notice it except, the women that very actively watch films.
Yeah.
Having a female director changes so much about a
Exactly.
female
Yeah, yeah.
character.
I do agree
Because
with
I
you.
remember way back in Wonder Woman as well, people were freaking out about the fact that,
Gal Gadot doesn't
Wonder
have
Woman.
boobs big enough to be Wonder
No,
Woman's.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about this part where her thigh jiggle,
Okay.
and
Oh.
people were really talking about it because they were like, women are just like sexualized a lot in the films, and to have a character that is not just like,
A
you know,
sexual icon and has an
yeah,
own identity.
exactly, yeah. She's
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
not
like
just,
I'm sorry to
that's
interrupt, but like there is this thing, right? Like I mean female characters in comics were introduced to like give support to the male superheroes like back in the day
yeah,
when it
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
given.
yeah. I
But
mean,
like yeah, but like I think that came into change, and now like obviously like Wonder Woman was like the first DC like first superhero film to be headlined by a woman. And
Yeah,
like Harley Quinn's was it not Harley Quinn's, my bad, Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey, right?
yeah,
It had an ensemble of like just female characters, and like Roman Sionis as Black Mask,
oh my
right?
god, Evan
yeah,
McGregor is fucking amazing. Just like
Oh
putting it
yeah,
out
right.
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But do you guys believe or do you guys think that making a movie R-rated gives you more creative freedom than making it more
That's
child friendly?
definitely true.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Cause
Like,
like when
Birds of Prey couldn't have worked if it wasn't
oh yeah, if it would have been some
R-rated.
PG-13 bullshit, I would have been disappointed.
I
Yeah,
Like,
mean, yeah,
like how they
definitely.
ruined Venom like that too. Venom was supposed to be R-rated too, if you guys remember.
Yeah, but
yeah,
like they had to like change it because
They wanted to make toys out of the fucking film. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like there is this thing. James Cameron was actually once supposed to make a Spider-Man film, an R-rated one actually. It's a thing not a lot of people are aware of. So
yeah,
Yeah,
James Cameron was
but
actually pitched to produce, direct, and write a Spider-Man film, which was supposed to be R-rated, which was supposed to explore more of, Peter as a teenager going through adolescence. So it was supposed to express puberty parts of it, like like
uh,
him going through
yeah,
sexual tension, him maturing and everything, having nudity, sexual scenes, violent action and everything. And that's something that I really wish that I would have gotten the chance to see at least once. I mean,
I mean, dude, honestly, if James Cameron directs like any movie, firstly he's gonna take 10 years, 20 years to like,
yeah.
dude, I mean, okay, okay,
Yeah.
this is one fact that I didn't know about, like I found out recently, is that like apparently the Avatar movie was like conceptualized in the year 1980,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
because the technology was not
Yeah, it's not
available,
available. He made it
Yeah,
very
yeah,
well
yeah.
in the later.
yeah,
That's what's happening with the
he
new Avatar films as well, right?
Yeah, they are doing new motion capture underwater. So like since the technology is not available, they had to like wait another, like it was supposed to release in 2014, but like now
It's like
uh
2021, 22 or some shit.
yeah, and subsequently the 3 and 4 will be released like 3 4 years prior ऐसे कुछ. And see, thing is that I mean I would like you said, it's like there's a chance that we'll never get to see that aspect of Spider-Man as like being directed by James Cameron. But like even if like but if I got a chance to see that, I mean I would definitely pay a lot of money to watch it.
I mean,
Like,
even to have the chance to read the script would be great at this point. Because,
oh
like,
dude,
he
like
cast
imagine.
Leonardo DiCaprio as Peter Parker, and that, like, at that era and like that time when Leonardo DiCaprio was fresh out of Titanic, that young
Yeah,
Yeah.
Caprio look would have
it
been
would it would
perfect
it would
for
have been,
Peter Parker,
yeah.
honestly. That's something
Yeah.
I feel like I could
Totally
resonate with
right. Yeah.
easily.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, that brings us back to the fact that like it didn't go all well for DC to start with. Like,
It had
it's
a rough start.
yeah, it had a
That's
rough
all.
start. It's
Yeah.
coming along now. I really like Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, and everything, like I said. But
Yeah. Yeah.
like here's the weirdest thing. I remember I had gone in the theaters to watch Dark Knight Rises. Okay,
Hmm.
and I shit you not, I saw the trailer for Batman versus Superman play in the
Oh.
theaters,
Oh
and
no. Okay.
uh,
What?
yeah, I remember that I'd seen Dawn of Justice trailer play in theaters. I'm pretty sure. I think it was Batman versus. No, wait.
Are you wait, no, it's
I
not possible, dude.
No,
Yeah.
wait.
I
Yeah,
don't think that can happen.
I don't know, some superhero film. I don't remember which one. Wait,
No,
yes.
because Dark Knight Rises released in
Yeah,
2012,
there's a
like
difference of 4 years between them. I'm aware about that. But
ah.
like there was one, I don't remember, some movie. It was after Dark Knight Rises then, in which I saw the trailer for Batman versus Superman. It was the trailer in which you don't even see Ben Affleck's Batman or Henry Cavill's Superman for that instance. You
Oh
just see
yeah.
like the logo of Batman and engraved into like Superman's logo, and you
Oh
see
yeah.
Superman take flight and a silhouette of Batman or something. And I got
Wow.
so excited because like I remember as a kid I had read Batman versus Superman because that's a comic book arc that a lot of comic book readers have come across as a kid, and
Yeah.
something like everyone adores and enjoys a lot, because like putting these two superheroes against each other is something like as a comic reader is something like you really look forward to. Like Civil War was
Definitely.
a big deal, but Batman versus Superman came out and I walked out of the theater sad.
Oh yeah, like like I still remember, it's just like the Civil War situation. Like back ka logo on their shirt somewhere very super
Yeah,
logo. And like the
Yeah.
same goes with Civil War, right? People are wearing like Team Iron Man, Team
yeah,
Captain America.
but Batman vs
Yeah.
Okay.
Superman was horrible.
Yeah, and you just go so happy, you're like, "Arey, aaj Batman ko
You
ladai karne."
finally get to see your
And
dream come true, and it's this
yeah,
shit.
and then you come out, and then like I don't know, dude. It's just like
Yeah.
you come out like disappointed as fuck. You come out moody. You're like, dude, मैं आज से कभी DC नहीं देखेगा. Like
मेरे को
that.
सुपर हीरो नहीं चाहिए.
Like
And
Yeah.
that's one thing that that's one awakening I had. Like I never left hope on DC, but like that was one
yeah,
movie
but
that
it really
almost
put me down.
brought me. Yeah, that almost brought me into like, bro, fuck DC. As movies, like comics ही अच्छा है, comics ही पढ़ेगा, Marvel का सिर्फ movie देखेगा
And
और कुछ नहीं.
also
बस
like
Mhm.
like
Suicide Squad, right? I remember. I mean, till this day, I
Yeah.
feel the trailer of Suicide Squad is better than the movie itself. Like
no,
the
I
trailer of
think
Suicide
Suicide
Squad is
Squad
so
really won.
good, but the movie is so bad.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, like to be honest, like the reason why people went to watch Suicide Squad, I mean, I don't want to say this, but because
Harley
Harley
Quinn,
Quinn
yeah,
was
like properly it's
sexualized.
mentioned the whole
Yeah.
sexualized
Yeah.
factor
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
female characters.
it
That's
was
definitely a
it was
selling point.
just like 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 people just wanted to see Margot Robbie without clothes. Like,
And that's something they've highlighted in the trailer
Yeah.
itself, like the scene
And
of her
yeah,
putting a
like
t-shirt on.
that's it's made a spectacle out of in the film as well. Like all the men are just surrounding her and looking at her while she changes. It was
Yeah.
like it was very weird to watch.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, it's like a comic relief, but like, now that you look into it more, it's just like, is it really necessary kind of thing, you know? And
I think one thing I can't say really, but I liked about Suicide Squad was the character of God, I
Dead,
forgot her name. The
Deadshot.
witch.
Oh,
The
really?
witch. But before she becomes Cara Delevingne. You know the really dark
Hmm.
Oh,
chick.
right.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
the one in the cave, right?
The one in the cave, the one who looks
Yeah.
like straight out of a horror movie.
I wish they would
I
have
really
stick to
like
that.
that character design a
Yeah.
lot.
Oh my god, that
I
was
still
fucking
think about
amazing.
it. 'Cause imagine that as a proper horror film.
Or that, even
With
that
that
for the
character.
villain of the movie would have been great. Because
Yeah,
you have
and
this
then
whole
she just turns into Cara Delevingne
yeah,
all of a sudden.
and you have
With
this
a
whole
very
vibe going on. Like it's an apocalyptic battleground. The
yeah.
city they are in. It's all so
Definitely.
fucked, and then there's like random shit happening for no reason. It's like you don't even feel like you wanna resonate with the characters. I mean, I love the casting
Yeah.
for the most part in Suicide Squad. Like Will Smith as
Yeah.
Deadshot is definitely something that I'm really happy to see. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
Like even though they made Suicide Squad about sexualizing Harley Quinn, they actually did
They,
something
no,
good
I
out
don't
of an
think they
idea.
made Suicide Squad as too about sexualizing Harley Quinn. Suicide Squad its own motives. It's just the selling point for that movie was sexualizing Harley Quinn.
Sexualizing Harley Quinn. Yeah, that's I think a
yeah.
better and accurate way.
And I think if you compare that to Birds of Prey, you can see the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and people, even the way Birds of Prey has portrayed, it's like if you go from the trailers and stuff, right? You do see that like that sexual aspect of Harley, because that's one of her character traits. She is a
Yeah,
flirty. Like that's the
yeah.
way she's like
Yeah.
gotten around
She has to
and
lure men.
gotten
She has to
shit
lure
done.
men around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and as a guy, I can say like like yeah, that's her strongest. What do you say? So that's a strong point basically. But like
Okay.
Birds
Yeah.
of Prey is not a movie that relies on that, which makes it
yeah,
different.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. That's the thing.
And that's how it makes it work, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
that's definitely like that's really great. That's pretty amazing to say that we've come this far with these characters and everything. So you've seen the Justice League animated series, right? The cartoon show that used to come on Cartoon Network
I've,
at night.
I've, yeah, I have.
So like yeah, like after watching that show and reading the comics and everything, how did you feel when you saw Justice League, the movie, the live action one?
I really don't want to say, dude, because Justice League felt all over the place.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it was not great.
It's somehow worse than Batman vs Superman, which I really didn't expect it to be, but it is.
Yeah, dude. Like
Yeah.
watching Justice League ka film was like watching a Salman.
Oh my god, I don't know
Oh
why
God,
I can
yeah.
agree with this, but here I am agreeing with this.
Yeah, like one thing that it needed was a script. It had a good star
It
cast. It had
needed
a
good writing for the characters too.
Yeah, no, the thing is
Yeah.
it had a good star cast, it had good VFX, it had good like
I won't
CGI.
say good VFX either. Come on. Superman's
No, okay,
mustache,
yeah, the mustache
Steppenwolf's
thing,
character,
yeah, it
No,
really.
Steppenwolf's
I mean,
character
okay,
design, these are all horrible. Okay?
okay, see, okay, as much
Even
as you might
Doomsday's
disagree,
character design for that
okay,
instance, I'm
see,
not
as
gonna
much as you
bet
disagree,
mine.
but like, see, the thing is that I'll say it's not that bad as people say it. Okay, DC films have good CGI, but the thing is, overall, as a character design and everything, yeah, it is shit. If you see and if you compare it with Marvel standards, yeah.
Even by
But
DC's
then,
own standards, it's shit though. That's the
yeah,
thing.
but like if you
Yeah.
see that like dude, they have done much better when well off in comics than in movies, right? Like I mean, this is something that everyone agrees with. Like anyone who has read DC since a child
Yeah, for the
or
most part,
Yeah.
DC has done pretty well in terms of comics compared to Marvel.
yeah, and it's predominantly because of villains. But then obviously DCU fucks up all the villains somehow or the
Yeah.
other.
Also, it's
And
because the comics rely on having an actual storyline. the
Yeah,
Yeah,
views. Yeah.
yeah,
but
and
but yeah,
yeah.
like DC special effects has definitely gotten better with Shazam, Aquaman. Aquaman is a visual spectacle.
Oh yeah, yeah, it
Oh
is.
yeah,
It is.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, honestly, for the story part, Aquaman really lacks for the content that there is, but the acting, the character design, and the CGI and the VFX and everything is so good that you don't really care about the story when you're watching the film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we'll never get to see Amber Heard ever again in Aquaman.
Yeah, yeah. Let's not get into that, but
Yeah. Let us not get into that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Even Ezra Miller's Flash, like
okay,
no clue
I'd
what to
rather
act.
like not touch this side right now because
See, Ezra
that's a big
Miller as
discussion
a
in itself.
character, yeah, like exactly. Like
Yeah.
Ezra Miller is not a bad actor, but like as a Flash, he's very not very like he has like it's not very like one thing that I didn't like about that character is like he enters his own like
They
Flash
made him like a
house.
sidekick, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Considering
and
how
like
Flash
dude,
really is
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
yeah, and he's listening to K-pop, dude. Like, I mean, sorry, but like
Oh my
that
god, no,
really
don't
gave me a
remind me of that. Don't remind me of that, please.
holy fuck, dude. Like
Fucking hell.
that really. And then like yeah, I mean, and dude, when I like see, I have like been seeing the Arrowverse shows like since a long time. I've
You're a
been
big fan
following.
of Arrowverse, I'm aware of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like dude, watching that, and like I've been watching like Grant Gustin as the Flash for the past 6 years, and like
I
thing is, he represents Flash as he is.
That's
Like
true. Grant Gustin does
yeah,
play a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
Flash.
Yeah. And like
yeah,
when you already have such a great Flash, it
yeah, and
shouldn't be hard to carry the same actor to the film.
yeah, and then there's Ezra Miller with a bob cut, and then he's like listening to K-pop and be like, "Hey, tu kaun hai? Hey, you're
Yeah,
the
that's the
bad."
thing though. Like, you see these direct connections in Justice League trying so hard to be like Avengers. Because they made Ezra
Yeah,
Miller's Flash like Spider-Man with Iron Man and everything. They really tried to
yeah,
make their characters look like the ones from MCU. Which is
yeah.
something
No,
that I
yeah.
wish
Yeah.
they hadn't done. Because
The
then you
one
lost the
pet peeve of mine,
originality.
one of the most like the one of the biggest pet peeves of mine in like DC is that they tried to imitate Marvel.
Yeah, that exactly.
And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they were successful with Shazam and like not Wonder Woman actually, but like Shazam
Yeah.
they were successful with because they put in a lot of humor.
But like
Like,
that's something that's a trait for the character itself. So like
yeah,
it
that's
would have
also
been
true.
it would have been sad if they wouldn't have been able to pull it off, but they did.
Yeah, and like it's just like they tried to put in the Marvel influence, with Justice League and everything, and I mean, obviously it did not work. But like,
Yeah.
but one thing I'm excited about DC is firstly Wonder Woman 84
Oh,
coming
it
out.
looks beautiful.
Looks it's
Yeah,
really good. Yeah.
yeah, the suit is like, it's brighter red. It's
Yeah, I
this,
really like that
Yeah.
designs.
yeah, and moreover, like, I mean, we get to see Trevor back, and you don't know how he's come back, but
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
yeah,
I
and like
like what
Cheetah.
DCU has in the future, with James
Yeah.
Gunn making the new Suicide Squad
Oh
and
yeah,
everything, the
Oh
yeah,
Black
yeah.
yeah.
Adam
Yeah.
film. I'm really excited to see what DCU has to offer, and I feel like with the future of DCU, if it succeeds the way it does, I feel like they'll be able to compensate for like the rocky start that they have had,
I
and
think
Huh.
they're getting the hang of it.
yeah, I think they're getting the
Finally.
hang of it.
Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine? Like DCU went as far as like getting an MCU director in their films
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Not
Yeah.
just once, twice, but
twice. Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah, dude. Like
yeah, like I'm really excited to see Marvel's future as well because like we're very unaware of what to expect now since
Yeah.
an entire saga,
yeah,
the Infinity Saga, has ended, and yeah,
Also,
like
with Marvel, the way they're actually integrating TV shows into the bigger, cinema universe is
yeah,
kind of admirable.
it's very smart actually. I like how DC did that, but they did it very later. They just turned into another universe. But like, I
hmm.
Yeah.
like the way Marvel did it more, honestly. But
I mean, I don't blame DC for doing it late because see, the thing is, the Christopher Nolan movies kind of delayed everything in there. Like it. I mean, see, I'm not
I
complaining
get
that.
what you mean. No, I understand what you're
Yeah,
saying. Yeah,
yeah, they couldn't start a
Yeah.
DCU without establishing character. Like they can't have two Batman movies back to back.
that's the thing, right?
So
DC was very rocky, but
yeah,
yeah,
it
now
was.
they have figured their way out. I feel.
Yeah, it's just that like DC knows like now, like and one thing that I like about DC, like it does sound like an unpopular opinion, is that DC does not incorporate so much humor into their content. Like,
Yeah,
there
now
is,
they've like started to stick to their own original vibe for the films.
yeah, like humor is supposed to be there, but like not like, if you see bunch of Marvel movies, I mean, one thing I dislike about Marvel movies that like, they are just capitalizing on just humor now.
But actually, if
Like,
you notice in Aquaman, Shazam, and Birds of Prey, humor is one of the most primary elements that's
it
evidently
is like,
available.
but see, the thing is that it's so natural, dude. Like, in Avengers, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, in some Marvel movies, I would agree with the fact that it does feel forced at times.
yeah, like, if you see Avengers, okay, humor was there. It was very natural the way humor was presented. But
Yeah,
like, as you
Yeah.
go progress into the Guardians of the Galaxy, and like, if you see Thor, it was like a proper
Thor
Guardians of the Galaxy
definitely,
film.
I agree.
And then it goes to Endgame where like Ant-Man comes out and that Ant-Man music.
No, I'm sorry. I might be biased when I say this, but Endgame is just like everything about it
No,
is
it
too
is good.
perfect.
I'm not denying that it's good. It's just that like, I just don't like about Marvel, like, they're like, acha suno. Like director is like, listen, director, you make the movie, just put some 50 jokes in it and we'll be good. Like that's how Marvel, like right now Marvel is just capitalizing on humor as an element. I'm not saying it does not work, but it gets very monotonous after a point.
I feel
And I
like
think,
that's your
Yeah.
personal opinion, and I respect that. That's
yeah,
a very
no, I
common
mean, yeah,
opinion as well.
definitely.
But
Yeah. No, I mean, that's how it
yeah,
is.
but like in general, like if we like yeah, it's like we're at the point where we're gonna conclude the ordeal now. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm really excited to see what like Marvel and DC
sure.
have for the future of these characters in
Yeah.
the movies.
Definitely.
I think we'll see Black Widow in November because it
Oh
got
man, I'm so
moved.
excited.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
releasing on my birthday, guys. By the way,
Oh
just want to
yeah,
put it
Oh
November,
out
yeah.
there.
right?
So
Holy
like,
shit,
I
dude.
feel
Oh
special
my
as
god.
fuck.
And it looks great because I personally love Rachel Weisz and I really like Florence Pugh
I
from
love
Midsommar.
DK Harbor too.
Dude,
Yeah,
Rachel Weisz hasn't aged a day.
she
Holy shit.
hasn't. Like right from the mummy, she has not.
And like yeah, I feel very special because like it's coming out on my birthday. First, Eternals was gonna come out on my birthday, but it's just like I'm just happy that a Marvel movie is coming out on my birthday. Just I don't know why, it just makes me feel so good about
Oh
myself.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
dude, what's this is the most like excited I've ever been. Wonder Woman released on my birthday.
See, you know what I'm
Wow.
feeling then.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've exactly been there. Yeah. It
So
was
like
it was
yeah,
amazing.
like definitely that's a big thing that I have to that I personally look forward to, and I think we all look forward to the future of these characters.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like yeah, I'm really glad that we had this discussion, and I mean, there's a lot of things that we really haven't spoken about because we can't make a 4 or 5
Yeah.
hour podcast. But I hope we get the chance
Definitely.
to record one more together, so we can
Yeah,
Definitely.
explore
definitely.
these
There's
topics
so
more.
much more left.
So yeah, for you guys watching, we might do a second parter to this or something in the future. Not now, no plans as of yet, but like we would definitely like to discuss, like dwell into these topics more, because
Yeah, because it's a
Yeah.
vast area of expertise. And like
superhero,
there are a lot of people that can come up with different
and
like, we should probably do a comic segment of this predominantly
exactly,
because
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
sort of a movie
yeah,
segment. But
and like
yeah.
superhero movies are something that are like extremely mainstream now, but like I said, they're just like they have their own thing, okay, which as a fan you realize it better than other people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
with
definitely.
that being said, guys, you know what to do about the podcast, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for tuning in to the podcast. I hope you and if you have, then please give us a like and a
Wait,
subscribe
sort
on
of
our
do that
channel.
again. Your voice cut for me. Also, like,
Okay.
don't start like that. Tell them about the fact that we're on Spotify and shit now.
Okay, so thank you for tuning into this podcast. We are on other areas as well. We are in Spotify and we are on
Yes, guys,
SoundCloud,
that's the biggest thing.
apart from
We're
YouTube.
officially on Spotify now.
Yeah, we are officially on
It's a big
Spotify,
deal for
and
us.
yes, it is. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys like this episode. Please do give us a like and a subscribe on our channel. It really helps us, and please support us. The Spotify links and the SoundCloud links are available in the description
Yeah, we're
box below.
actually now available on multiple platforms other than YouTube,
Platforms.
Spotify, and SoundCloud. We have all the links up in the description below. Praptir is also an artist, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
does some
Definitely give her a
fucking
follow.
amazing art. So we'll
Yeah.
link her
Give her a
art account
follow.
in the Instagram. You guys check it out. It's some really dope shit, you know.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
And
Yeah, and we
I'm,
hope to
I'm
see you
really
again.
glad that you could, join us for this episode, and really hope that we get a chance to record another one with you in the same topic
Yeah.
or something
Yeah, I
along
would
these
love
lines.
to. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you,
So,
Pratesh,
thank you
for
for
joining us.
not
Yeah,
physically
thank you,
but
guys.
mentally coming to the podcast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I hope you guys really liked what we had today. We'll be exploring
Yeah.
more topics as well, and we'll have an episode out next Friday too. So do the deed like Saurav said, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah. Bye.